What's up, y'all? What's up? Welcome to the Pugilistic Linguistic Show. I am your host, Michael Foster, the voice of reason in an increasingly unreasonable world. And I am back with a new one. But this one's a little twist. I actually on video. I definitely have a face for radio, but I've been asked to do or to show myself. So here I am. This is a work in progress. I really don't know how to improve upon this, so I'm working at it. So, like I say all the time, tell your friends, tell your Romans, tell your countrymen about this podcast. Um, like, share, subscribe, PayPal, and Cash App are in the description if you want to support. Um, just get me out there. Like I say, either you love it or you hate it. Even if you hate it, find somebody to hate it with and hate it together. Friends don't let friends hate by themselves. So get out there and hate it together. Just get it out to the masses. And it's different because when I do my podcast, I can do anything because I'm not on video. Now I have to be cognizant of what I'm doing. It's a weird feeling. So today I want to wade back into the Middle East conflict. But like I said before in a previous episode, I am not a political scientist. I am not a Middle East expert. I'm a dude behind a microphone. But maybe I'm being overly simplistic here. But I also think that a lot of things can be solved or addressed with some common sense things. The Israeli Palestinian conflict, as I see it, is a simple case of one side wants something that the other side doesn't want to give up. And side A will force itself on side B because they're bigger and stronger. Side B fights back the only way they know how. And round we go. So as I look at this conflict in its current day um, case, for decades, the argument was Israel is defending itself from Palestinian terrorist organizations like the PLO back in the day, like Hamas, like Hezbollah. But once you get past the propaganda of that, you start to come up with the truth. The truth being that in many cases, Israel is the aggressor. Israel almost, Israel is almost a terrorist in this scenario. Now, I know that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. But before you get all up in arms and come with spikes and pitchforks and tiki torches at my front door, just think about it for a second. Look at what started all this. Israel was created as a state, as a nation state back in 1947, I want to say. And with the stroke of a pen, Israel was created essentially. Now, I'm sure that there's more to it than that, but that's the gist of it. And now you have a land where people have lived there since biblical times. Okay. So these so called Palestinians, and this place is called Palestine, these Palestinians have lived on this land for thousands of years, hundreds of generations on this land. And now, with the swipe of a pen, this is now Israel. Y'all got to go. And if you don't go, we're going to force you to go. So think of it from the Palestinian perspective. We've been here since Jesus walked the earth, since God was burning bushes and Noah was building arks. And now you tell us this is now Israel, we got to go? That's like, go sit in your living room in a house that your grandparents passed down to your parents and your parents passed down to you, and you sitting in your living room. All of a sudden, somebody shows up with a piece of paper with a swipe of a pen and say, "This is our shit now. You got to go." And if you don't go, we're going to start attacking your family and killing your kids and killing your uncles and your aunts and all this. And they relegate you to your broom closet in the house that you've lived in for 100 years or your family has lived in for 100 years. How would that make you feel? This our shit now. See, this paper right here tells us this is our shit. And what's so damaging about that is the fact that Israel has the backing of major superpowers that basically lets them operate with impunity. The United States writes a blank check to Israel every year, regardless of the atrocities that Israel commits. We send them money, we send them arms under the guise of Israel needs to be able to defend itself. Yeah, I get that. But Israel also needs to stop being the aggressors. Now let me back up for a second. I do not agree with the methods that the Palestinian organizations use to fight this war. I don't agree with the methods. Personally, I don't think that the way they do their thing is beneficial. I don't think that the way they're going about fighting back is beneficial. For the life of me, I can't see how walking into a crowded marketplace with explosives strapped to you and killing the innocents furthers your goal. I think there's a better way to do this. What that better way is, don't get me to lying. But I just don't think the way they do their thing achieves their goal. But that being said, I understand the sentiment behind it. You can only go so long pushing people into a corner before they fight back. and they'll use any method they deem most damaging to fight back. Whether it is or not, whether it's effective or not, that's a different conversation. But I understand the sentiment behind it. I equate it almost to when we walked into Iraq. Don't get me wrong, Iraq needed a regime change. I don't agree with the methods that George W. used to walk into Iraq. We told him there were no weapons of mass destruction. He was like, fuck that, we're going in. But you go and you invade another country. What do you think the people in that country are going to do? We use a term called insurgents to justify the moves we made in Iraq. They weren't insurgents. There were people saying, "Get out of our country." Whether we should have been there or not, again, different conversation. Just know people are not going to take kindly to you. This our shit now. I'm walking in your living room. This our shit. That don't go over well with people. So I don't agree with the Palestinians the way they do their thing, but I understand the sentiment behind it. But I blame a lot of this conflict on the United States because we should hold more sway over Israel than we do. We feed them billions of dollars annually, and we also give them weapons and all this intelligence and all this. Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, is going rogue. He is the Middle East Trump. He's going rogue. He is committing atrocities in that region that have reached the level of genocide. They are summarily executing innocent Palestinians under the guise of defense, defending our country. They ain't defending their country. This is an offensive move. Now, yes, Hamas did take hostages on October 7th. And releasing the hostages, getting them back should be priority number one. 1 and 1A. But priority 1B needs to be, we need to sit down at this table and figure out what the hell we're going to do to end this conflict. And the United States has to be willing to say to Israel, look here, Israel, you are going to go to this table and negotiate in good faith. Why? Because if you don't, you know that money we send you every year? We have to seriously renegotiate and reevaluate how much, if any, we're going to keep sending you. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to subsidize your genocide. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to do that. Ain't no way in hell a country that I'm sending billions of dollars to is going to tell me, no, fuck that. We're going to do what we want to do and keep sending me money. What? See, that goes against everything that I understand as far as negotiations. And that's like, okay, I'm not saying Israel is our child. That's not what I'm saying. But just follow me here. That's like you have a 13-year-old and you obviously paid the 13-year-old's way through life. And the 13-year-old says to you, I'm going to do what I want to do. And you're going to keep giving me money. And I'm not going to have to listen to you. No, fuck that. I'm going to do what I want to do. Yet you're gonna keep. No. I am giving you billions of dollars in aid. And I am sending you weapons. I, the United States, I am funding your genocide. No. If I'm Joe Biden, if I'm Mike Biden, and I'm sitting there talking to Netanyahu, like, look here, dude, you're going to sit down at this table and negotiate in good faith. If not, we're going to seriously reevaluate our support. And if we pull out, everybody that come with us is going to pull out too. I also would go to the leaders of the Palestinian organization and say, look here, y'all. I'm coming to you in good faith as a mediator. I'm going to need you all to sit down at the table with Israel, and we need to hash this out. Now, understand, PLO, Hamas, Hezbollah, I don't want no shit out of y'all. This is what we're going to do. We're going to negotiate in good faith. I don't want no shit out of y'all, though. Any treaty we come up with, I'm going to need you to respect, or there will be consequences. The United States holds too much power in that region, dealing with these individual states, to sit idly by and allow this genocide to continue. Because that's what this is. Let's not call it a humanitarian crisis. Don't give me a little bullshit euphemisms. This is a genocide. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, innocent, non-combative Palestinians, mind you, are dying. I think at last count, which is woefully undercounted, but they said 118,000 Palestinians to date have been killed in this conflict. Now, in this recent conflict, not since day one, we're talking within the last, 10 years or something. Now, numbers contemporaneously are never correct. They're always adjusted after the fact. But 118,000 people and this isn't just a number. This is 118,000 wives and moms and dads and children and brothers and sisters with hopes and dreams and lives and all this. You're taking out, that's like taking out the size of a city the size of Mesa, Arizona, let's say. These are real people. There were American doctors. I think the number was like 99 American doctors over in that region, and they're reporting on what they're seeing. And they're saying that that children are coming in to their hospitals with strategically placed bullet wounds to cause the most damage. You're shooting children, Israel. Yeah, you're mad about October 7th. I get that. But the way you're doing your thing is unconscionable. It's a genocide. The United States needs to become an ambassador in that region and say, look, get y'all shit together. Sit down at this table and let's figure out a way to do this. Because there's a way to do it. This side is not going to be totally happy, and that side's not going to be totally happy. That's how you know it's a fair deal. Now, again, I am not naive enough to think that the Palestinian organization's only goal is the reclamation of their homeland. I am positive it is up there as a goal, but I'm not naive enough to think that there's not some regime backing them to their own goals. Okay, positive. Nothing is ever that simple. The thing is, we can't solve issue number two until we address issue number one. We can't get to the bottom of who's funding these Palestinian organizations and what their ultimate goal is if we have this specter of this land grab, this land fight hanging over everything. So, in order to get to issue number two, we got to solve issue number one. And it has to be done in that order. There's something else behind. Somebody is pulling the strings. But that's not important right now. What's important right now is stopping the genocide. And Israel are the aggressors. And the United States needs to say, y'all need to cut this shit out. Because if you don't, we can send those billions elsewhere. We can keep those billions at home. Let's get this off our plates because we got some other shit to worry about over in the Ukraine. We got bigger fish to fry. Because the last thing we need are other countries jumping in the middle of this regional conflict in the Middle East. Because once that starts to happen, now all hell's gonna break loose. So let's quell this in good faith and then move on to the next fire. But of course, that's just one man's unqualified opinion. Again, I'm no political strategist. I'm no political dude. I'm just a guy behind a microphone that's got a little bit of common sense. We are too big, and we are the hog with the big nuts around here. We need to start slinging them around for a while. But anyway, yes, I have the heat on. It's kind of chilly here. But anyway, that's just my unqualified opinion. Just what I've been thinking about. And again, tell your friends, tell your Romans, tell your countrymen about this podcast. Get it out to the masses. Like, share, subscribe. Subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. It's free. And it's an ego boost to me. I like when people say, hey, somebody actually likes me. I feel like Sally Field sometimes. For you young people, just Google Sally Field Oscars or whatever. For you young folk. But in the meantime, in between time until we meet again, take care of you and yours and take care of each other. It's some hurting folk out here, man. Take care of each other. I used to say take care of yourself because you all you got, but I'm starting to realize there's more to us. We take care of each other. There's a lot of people out here hurting, man. So just be good people. That shit don't cost you nothing either. But until we meet again, allow me to say peace.